Today, Suraj Singh, civil engineer. This video is related to parties on construction management, buildings construction in particular. You have a budget, you are a client or an owner, you have to decide your project. It is already, in principle, it has been decided, but details run are required. In principle, it was decided because you had money, your project, you wanted to build or promote some project. It is called promotion. Honor of honor of any project is promoter. In construction management, we come across few parties on whatever project. Now, let us say there is a project. There is someone who will take risk of that project, who will build that project, who will promote that project. That person is called owner. Owner can be government or owner can be private one. In general, both sectors enjoy these projects, promote these projects. And per statutory terms, it's called promoter. Promoter means don't call it builder. Means builder is a different term. Promoter is one of the parties. Promoter means owner who enjoys risks, who takes risks, and who sells, who makes profit or losses. That's called ownership. For example, in government there are Deleted Government Authority, other government authorities, and in private sector they have private ownership. This is the main party on construction contracts or execution contracts, which contracts are carried out by contractors appointed by owner or promoter on recommendation of engineers. In India, they call architect. For me, architect and engineer are same terms, no different, similar terms. Both have same equal powers. As far as construction is concerned, contracts are concerned. If you read FIDIC, you will find what contracts are, what standard terms applicable to national and international contracts. For Red Book of 1999, which is a revised one, there are 20 articles, 20 conditions which apply to construction contracts, and particularly design contracts, where design is available in general and you have to construct a project. So owner is one party and contractor is another party. Contractor can be EPC, it can be only construction, or it can be both. Generally, on big contracts, contractor take charge of construction and development. Otherwise, EPC contracts also run on the oil projects and on major turnkey projects. Here, what I am considering is what is term engineer, what is term contractor, and what is term owner. This is a confusion always means. People say, oh, he is responsible, contractor is responsible, engineer is responsible, and somebody is and owner is responsible. A mix up stands, nobody is clear. Even judicial people are not clear, advocates are not clear, and engineers are never clear. Construction requires a design after budgetary provisions are available, budgetary approvals are available, and that design is tendered out, published, and awarded. Question is, this is a long procedure, but I'm just telling in brief because the more explanation won't work. So let us say there is an engineer. He is between owner or promoter and contractor. Engineer is never a party on construction or execution contract, never a party. Engineer is by law independent party, nothing to do with contractor, nothing to do with owner. So he is paid on the project by owner, but he is not responsible to owner from viewpoint of design and supervision. If design is a part of is a responsibility of engineer, he designs himself. Himself is with under his organization, and it executes that design through contractors. Owner has to sign two contracts. One contract is construction or execution contract that is executed and signed between contractor and owner. That is supervised by engineer. But engineer is not directly involved in that. Engineer acts as a adjudication of authority, supervising authority, superintendent authority on such projects. Engineer has a full role, vast role, but no direct legal role. Now, if you come to other contract, there is a contract which is called project management contract or management contract or design contract, designer supervision contract. That contract is a service contract which is executed between owner or promoter and engineer, or you can call architect in India, no problem. Here, engineer is one party and owner is one party on contract. Owner is party number one, and engineer or architect is party number two for purpose of project management, supervision management, design management, whatever you can call it. While on construction side, on real execution, physical execution side, owner is also party one and contract is party two. These explanations I am giving because just to eliminate and remove confusion from public and from engineers. Now, owner just awards the project after tender has been scrutinized and cost has been agreed. Duty of owner to that extent is covered, but owner must have funds. Contractor has full authority to know whether owner got fund or he said no funds. If he has full authority, means you cannot say I will not tell you. If it's required under FIDIC, owner has to declare sources of funds to contractor, and it is the right of a contractor to ask for funds. In case funds are not available, contractor may or may not execute work. A role of engineer is, so I will explain three roles: the role of owner, role of engineer, and role of contractor. Practical roles are between engineer and contractor, but they are not parties on contract. See beauty. They work together, they manage together, they are responsible together, but they are not party to contract. Contract is between owner and contractor. So who is responsible in that case? Contractor is fully responsible according to management contract and according to FIDIC, according to user contract. Because responsibility, if it is lump sum contract and maybe design contract, the contractor is fully responsible even though engineer approves various activities on project. To an extent, design is complied with, to an extent, details are complied with, to an extent, specifications are maintained and applied, carried out. There is no responsibility left on the engineer and on owner. There is nothing left with them if they supervise properly, watch it properly, and payments are made properly by owner. Contractor is fully responsible absolutely for results, for quantity and quality, for safety, for durability, all if contract is of that nature. Contractor cannot run away from responsibility, and that is called a professional contractor. We don't not simply saying street contractors and contractors and government, they don't care what contractor is. But definition of contract is very much professional. If contractor is responsible, it has to work. The company has to work. Contracting company. Now, engineer's job is to support award of contract, to ensure tender accuracy, to ensure design is correct. If design is not contractor responsibility, in that case, to an extent, design is contractor should not take the responsibility. It is the responsibility of engineer, design engineer, structural engineer, or services engineers, architectural engineers. All those would be responsible under title of engineer. And site work, practical work, deliveries, materials, execution methods, qualities, everything, though duly approved from stage to stage by engineer under indirect control of owner, yet responsibility lies on head and shoulders of contractor and contractor staff. The question is, engineer has further staffing organization levels, and that is named as resident engineer in international affairs in terms. Maybe you can call whatever by your organizational way, but question is what are responsibility and roles of that person. I call it resident engineer. Resident means representative. Representative of any engineer is called resident engineer. People may call sometimes project engineer or sometimes supervising engineers. It doesn't matter. Question is that person, that official is resident engineer. He or she represents on site whatever engineer has to do, because one engineer doesn't take only control of one project. Engineer is a contractual term. It's not a term just by degree holders or for others. No, they are not engineers by contract. They are not engineers in law. Your engineer, suppose someone is BE and ME or somebody, and he calls engineer, that is academic qualification, nothing to do with professional qualification. That qualification is academic, and it's not designation of engineer, it's just BE degree or ME degree or whatever degree one has. That tells this person has passed Bachelor of Science in Engineering or Bachelor of Engineering. It's nowhere written on certificate that one person is engineer in law. But on contract term is engineer is used for purpose of contractual application, for purpose of legal binding. And that engineer is fully responsible for whatever project. It's not only civil, no, it's not civil, all disciplines, complete package of project is responsibility from design point of view, from accuracy point of view, from durability point of view, from longevity point of view, is shared by that organization of engineer or independent engineer, personal engineer. And that term is engineer on contract. On contract is defined in contract itself. And owner is defined as a person responsible financially and in all respects for safety and durability of public and for losses and profits, whatever results come in is digested by, absorbed by owner. Then remains contractor. Contractor is responsible for each and everything on that project in all respects to whatever extent defined in contract. That contractor has to take total responsibility circumscribed on contract liabilities, definitions, specifications, project specifications, general specifications, and all. All staff on contractors, all staff subcontractors are all bound together on that project. So there are three people here, three authorities here. One is owner, one is engineer, and one is contractor. Practically, owner and contractor. Owner has to pay, it is his duty. Owner. Contractor should work, it is his duty. So contractor has to appoint certain staff, and that staff is headed by site agent, I can call it, and company can call whatever they want, it doesn't matter. That person is site agent, means responsible for that site. Agent means representative again. Some people call site agent, some people call project manager, some call construction manager. It depends on organization, but the role in contract is site agent, site representative. That person represents contracting company on that project. And resident engineer represent engineer on that project, while organization head is owner, who represents public, who represents end user, and who is having all risk factors on this project. So question comes in with definition of responsibility. You can say job description on what roles these guys enjoy, and they have to be accountable for that work. Now engineer is engineer, but when I say engineer, I have to say resident engineer. To an extent, money is not concerned, finance is not concerned, budget is not concerned, allotment of funds is not concerned, and changes on definitions are not concerned, changes on contents of contract are not considered. Where the question regarding cost variation comes in, resident engineer is not liable, is not accountable, but for all other purposes, for supervision, for execution, for contract management execution, for site execution, resident engineer is liable to engineer, and engineer is liable to owner, and owner is liable to public. While in contracting company, contractor is liable to owner, contractor is indirectly liable to engineer because there is no contract between engineer and contractor. There is a solid contract, pactable, you can say packable, legally binding contract between contractor and owner. So contractor and owner are held together on construction contract, and on management service contract, engineer and owner are held together. If a building fails totally due to design fault, engineer and owner are held. If a building fails because of execution, faulty execution, or due to whatever reason, contractor and owner are held together. This is a triangle. And other than this triangle, there are very many other external auditors, you can say, external services, you can say, public services, you can say, statutory bodies, for example, municipalities, civil defenses, fire departments, and various other departments who grants approvals on buildings like municipalities or authorities. These are also statutory bodies, nothing to do with policy, they're not directly involved. But this is a triangle, and there are external auditors, internal auditors. Internal auditors are part of companies or contracting company, also in engineers organization. Both have their auditors, internal. But external auditors, external is third party, you can say. These days, IS 9001 2015 applies every year, and previously it was in 2008. This clearly states mandate that internal and external audit is a must. Internal audit is done by quality department in every company, in every organization that is having ISO 9001 2018 2015 compliance certificate. And I'm telling you something. People are writing ISO 9001 certified company. All this description illegal, is irrelevant. No company is certified by ISO 9001 organization. ISO 9001 organization does not have any mandate to issue certification to anyone. They don't have. They clearly say you're misusing this term. This is registered by those organizations which are given approval by ISO 9000 body. This is a world body, and this gives approvals to certain agents, and these agents grant certificates to various companies that themselves misappropriately write ISO 9001 certification, which is wrong actually. They should write ISO 9001 compliant certified. It's certified not by ISO 9001 organization, they are certified by certain authorized body. Anyway, this is not a topic. Just for your reference, I explained that. When the question comes back to, again, same consideration. Engineer through resident engineer, superintendent's activities. Engineer through resident engineer checks and examines all activities, examines all submittals, material submittals, drawing and shop drawing submittals, and all other submittals, meetings, and keeps a complete watch on project on behalf of owner. That's called engineer. Resident engineer has to be responsible technically, technically management wise and technically engineering wise. Any inappropriate work carried out on site is a lapse on part of resident engineer for engineer. It's resident engineer to be responsible in sense, not by cost. Means no cost can be recovered from resident engineer or from engineer if work is wrong. His work is not met, is not to not, doesn't meet criteria of specifications and standards. Nothing will go against resident engineer. At the most can be removed from site. But site agent on behalf of contracting company is a responsible manager. Site agent and all the staff below site manager, site agent, construction staff, design staff, supervision staff, safety staff, quality staff, procurement staff. All these departments are under control of site agent or project agent. Any incorrect work, any wrong work, any incompliant work, incompliant means incompliant with specification, where NCR is created. NCR means non-compliance report or non-conformity report. NCR issue is the responsibility of contractor. No work can be accepted which does not comply to specification and designs. This is main responsibilities of site agent to see that works are carried out, works are effected to meet contract requirement. And contract requirement doesn't mean only finance. Contract requirements described on all contract documents. And all contract document means contract means defined contract, described contract, whole documents of contract, then drawings, specifications, and feed, because feed is also a factor there when it's a major contract. Feed means FEED, front end engineering design, which gives root to designs. That is also a part of contracts. All standards, national and international. These are all contract documents and all materials approved, drawings approved, whatever approval granted verbally or in writing, whatever site clarifications, technical queries, technical, everything comes under control of controls, cost control, budget controls, material controls, supervision controls, and execution control, engineers control. These all works, these all responsibilities, all descriptions come under contracting companies on that project, and the site engineer has to look after each and everything. Method statements, for example. People don't understand what method statements are. A lot of description has been given, understanding has been created, but engineers don't care. First of all, they speak it wrong. When you speak, you say not method, it's a statement of method. Method of statement, they say is a method of statement. They can speak correctly. See, what international standards is, you are going to carry some activity. Whatever activity, concreting, formwork, steel fixing, steel fabrication, steel erection, services, like electrical, mechanical, civil, road work, whatever activities you have to carry out on site. You cannot simply directly go to site and carry out that. Oh, it is for civil or civil. No, you cannot do that in international affairs. Cannot be done like that in international project management. Every activity requires a method statement. That method statement must be approved, must be reviewed by resident engineer. First, it should be correctly released by contracting company. Site agent has to release it. He has to consider all factors, how they shall carry out, how shall people work on site, technical, safety, quality, combination of all these method statements required. Means a good design and drawn effective method statement which is practically done, which has to be practically done, not simply writing a thesis form. No, that has to be complied with on site also. That method statement for each activity must be created and got approved by resident engineer and engineers. Without that approval, works cannot be carried out on site. If it is carried out, that's not accepted. So that is a very technical document, very much technical means from even from small activity to all major activities, a group of activities, one has to write that, and only a person who has got pragmatism and work experience can write and release the document. It's not so easy means if you write something which is not amenable on site or which cannot be carried out, you cannot write that document because it shall raise a question later on. Why did you include that part in a statement? If it cannot be done, you cannot ask for excuses. No, you cannot. So method statement is also very important. Without this, nothing. You may call it method statement, you call it procedure, parts will call it, doesn't matter. It should cover general materials, drawings, it should cover references to material which you are using, approved material, it should contain all other safety requirements, quality requirements, and whatsoever is feasibly or conveniently included on that statement and applied on site practically is done. Similarly, other issues are there. It is a responsibility of course, contracting site agent to mobilize site. Mobilize means take off site and start erection fencing, water supply arrangement on site, sewerage on site, sewage containment, you can say, establishment of offices, establishment of documentations, and whatever is required on this project means that this is the job of a site agent prior to starting excavation activity or other activity or other surveys whatsoever. That is a very voluminous job, and one site agent, good site agent, must be ready to face all these things. He has to see where services are running, there are new services running on site bills. He has to check all these through report drawings. So he should apply to various statutory departments or services departments. So they must have record drawings, and he should check all those documents. If there are services, you cannot ask excavator guy go there and start excavation because services break. It happens very, very common. They break it and then make it, but it's not allowed in contracts. You have to undergo scrutiny first, examination of underground services first. And if there are services, you cannot use machines there. The electrical cables, live 11,000 cables, how can you do an excavating excavator there? You cannot do that. Means you have to divert that one first by hand excavation or any other means. electrical cable, mechanical services may be there, water services may be there, sewerage lines. There's so many things are there. This is very complicated job. The static job is not so easy. It's, you go and start excavation, then it's not done like that. So this is our job of site agent. Then preparation of statements, preparation of material submittals, and preparation of drawings and coordination with the subcontract and sub material suppliers as well. This is a continuous process. This keeps on moving all days until 60 days are over from date of commencement, because many maximum description 60 days. In 60 days, you have to submit all these documents. Otherwise, work will delay. 30 days are given for mobilization, and 60 days from date of commencement is given for material submittal, tank submittal, coordinations, etc., which is a very small period, but you should be prepared for contract once you sign a tender. It's not sure, means I signed tender, I don't care for time limit. No, you have to care, otherwise you will be paid. You will not be paid, and penalties will be imposed on like in form of liquidated damages. So site in his job has to take control of site staff, whoever staff is there, contracting staff, subcontracting staff, and has to entertain engineers and staff if he's given in contract. Means you have to provide services to engineer as well. For example, photocopying services, internet services, tea and coffee services, all that you have to provide. Offices for that engineer and all other facilities which are required in office. And same is required for others who are coming in. The subcontractors are coming to serve you on your contract. Means you have to provide same establishment for them, and then keep moving like this. You have to arrange for meetings, coordination meetings. You have to arrange for engineers meetings, which is monthly meetings, which is done, which is managed by a site agent. In various companies, so for the Qatar Petroleum, for example, there is a condition that you have to write minutes of that meeting. It happens. Sometimes engineers write, sometimes resident engineer writes, sometimes contractors write, and signed by contract as well as by resident engineer once it is agreed with. So you have to do many activities which you may not even conceive that this can be done by contracting company. But those companies are professionals, they're not simply contractors, they are professional contractors. They are qualified staff. And the other thing is that on contracts you cannot work without approvals. If suppose you are a site agent, you are a site engineer, you are even general foreman, you are a services engineer, whatsoever you are, you cannot work on sites without having obtained approval from engineer and from government or owner. Without that approval, you cannot move, even if you have certificate of engineering. You cannot work like that, because every project requires varying degrees, varying qualifications, varying you can say profile of engineers. If your file doesn't match that requirement, they will not approve you. They will sue engineer and owner. They will not approve, they will not allow you to work on site. So this applies to all positions. So that must be complied with. Then works control. All works must be controlled, must be approved, must be inspected by quality of contracting company and by quality of client, or you can say quality of engineer company. Without approvals, no one can move. If there is a defect, it must be notified. You cannot simply say, I am taking out contract chartering, and if there is a defect, I repair. You cannot do that. It's not allowed. It's illegal. This is hiding some defect from engineer, which is a crime. You cannot hide anything. You must have trust. You must have one trust from engineer and from owner. You must be a trustworthy contractor, not a stealing contractor. It happens here, oh, just put some plaster on that, put some mortar on that, look up. No, it's not. You have to check yourself if there's a defect in concrete or defect in any other item. And then inform responsible person. First you inform your agent, then you inform resident engineer. This has happened, come, we find solution to avoid NCR. And if possible, NCR can also be raised, because there's non-compliance. Your quality engineer can ensure that NCR is raised, and it must be closed later. It can be closed only by applying agreement. Means this agreement can reach between quality department and the site department. How to rectify that, how to remedy that, and then it can be closed. Otherwise, payment for that area can be stopped. It's not easy. Job of engineering is not so easy. And there are various technical works to be done, engineering works to be done on site. For example, testing of soil. If some specifications for wearing capacity is included on contract, and this must be available on site, you have to prove it. Prove means it's not your responsibility to prove it, but you have to test it. You have to call some soil testing laboratory and conduct test of to find value of K. And then they will recommend this bearing capacity of site, and if it matches or goes above that, it's okay, it's proved. If in case it is lower, then you have to submit method statement of soil improvement to enhance bearing capacity of soil to increase it. If it's given in your specifications, if it's given in your scope of work, and you have to apply methods for soil improvement and then again test it until you achieve that defined soil bearing capacity working. Otherwise, you cannot start foundation work. This happens very rarely, but it is a part of job. And that consultant or you can say resident engineers must be there with you all time for this work. Resident engineers generally all time. So these jobs descriptions I just told you are about site agent, and site agent transfers these job details for the delegates by delegation to site engineers and other engineers, discipline wise and method wise and quality wise and category wise, up to foreman level. Foreman is a good position in contracting. Now, same thing applies to resident engineer also. Job of resident engineer is parallel to site engineer or site agent. On one tree it is site agent, on other tree is resident engineer. Resident engineer has to examine, has to ensure whatever you are doing comes in relation to definitions and specifications. Everything must comply with confirmation requirement. It must comply with specification. It must comply with codes. It must comply with good industrial practice as well. When there is nothing available to ensure whether or not work has been done according to requirement, then industrial practice works. Otherwise, codes work, specification work, specific project specification, general specification, specific specification, whatsoever. So engineer on site from engineering company is resident engineer, engineer on site from content company is site agent. Resident engineer is responsible for all acts on site in supervision capacity, but no liability is owned by resident engineer. Each and every liability is owned by contractor site agent. So these two are responsible in that way. If some work is wrong, is done carried out wrong on site, contractors staff is responsible. If resident engineer and engineer lose trust in site agent or site engineer on some other staff, their CVs, curriculum vitae, approvals can be withdrawn. They can be asked to leave site, and contractor is forced to replenish that. This is contract. Similarly, if resident engineer is not competent, engineer can replace that one. Both are responsible in their own word, but ultimately, who suffers if such instances, such a stage is reached that contractor's site agent has to move out, resident agent has to move out. Ultimately, sufferer is project and owner. I have seen some projects where 50 site agents had been changed in 5 years. Can you imagine that? 50 site engineers had been demobilized from that project. It was a big hospital project in Jeddah. When I when I reached that project, I was told that more than 50 engineers had left site because of problems. And same thing applies to resident engineers as well. But it's job, it's work. You cannot ignore requirements. Everywhere is not chalta hai attitude. World is different. India, forget India. Here nothing moves. Everything moves with money. But everywhere money doesn't work. Technology works, methods work, contracts work, specifications work. So these two personal resident engineer and contracting engineer or site agent are having their own spectrum, technical civil spectrum. They are masters in their jobs, well experienced must be, and then honor is there. Other than this, are there, you can say, services engineers, architects, engineers on sites for their methods, for their business, and subcontracting engineers are there. All are responsible in combination collectively with site agent. Any mistake, site agent has to take responsibility of. Same thing, engineer has to take responsibility of resident engineers if faults ever for it. They have to move together, and top of that are statutory departments and external auditors. External auditors, not in the sense just to audit papers, no, they can audit work. They can inspect site anytime. They can ask for all reports. They can ask for concrete methods, concrete testing methods, standard deviation of concrete results. They can ask for anything, whether contract is complied with the requirements of contracts, whether there has been any play with your methods, your systems. If there's a play, it can be offset. Simply, it's not simply see this straight line in column or beam, so there's no crack, etc. And whatever results of cubes. No, it's not simply that. Whether contract conditions have been complied with, that is also important. It is very important internationally to ensure the quality is achieved. Quality doesn't mean quality of concrete or quality of works or quality of items. No, that is one part. Quality of systems. ISO 9001 gives that. You simply don't depend on quality control. Quality control means control on materials requirements. That is called quality control, testing, or whatever it is. But quality on systems, that is more important. If you cannot move your systems, forget quality. If systems are moved, quality can be achieved, but not guaranteed. Because just signing formalities people do is not acceptable. What happens? People just keep signing on that dates, cheating self and cheating project and cheating everybody. Quality of system is very important, which has to move per procedures defined on quality plans. Quality plans means on every project there must be some documentation, international standard documentation. That is project plan, quality plan, safety plan, and other plans. It's not simply plan on paper. These are combination. These are book type methods given for every activity. Quality has to work like this. Safety has to work like this. Their procedures are defined, and these procedures must be maintained. It's not theoretical definition. This is that can be affected on site. These are available on projects. And if you cannot do this, deviations are recorded, non-conformances are recorded, NCR is recorded. Just think one example I'm giving you is a very complicated one and very easy one also. Suppose you don't do good coding on concrete per requirement. What solution do we have? Today you passed for good concrete and it's not cured for 7 days or 10 days to meet requirement. What shall be the result? Just think on. Can you remedy this? If your concrete fails because of curing in laboratory and cure testing, what solution you have? No solution. Such ignorance must be avoided. Somebody says, oh, it's only curing is left. But it's not curing alone. Its material is destroyed. Material is destroyed. And concrete casting time was very short. Work on preparation was very short. But if you are ordered to remove your concrete work, suppose you are ordered to remove your slab, what do you think? Is it not a project on itself and loss of money and loss of time and loss of everything and reputation, etc.? This is called problem. First, you have to spend months to prove that your work is wrong. Keep testing, keep testing, code testing, load testing, this testing and that testing. You will waste months in that. And after that, you have to break it, remove clear sight, and you have to make it. Think where project will go to space. Engineering is not so easy. Design engineering may be easy, but construction engineering is a big problem. There is always in construction, what is time and design? Stupidity. No risk in design because you are supported by softwares. But on site work, there is no software. Your mind is software, your hands are software, your efforts are software, your dynamism is software. If you don't contribute, keep coffee, keep taking coffee and tea, talking on mobiles, you are not engineers. Talk on mobiles for work, not for chatting. You have to ensure your work quality. Nobody will assist you, nobody will help you because people don't cooperate in projects. Politics comes in play and groupism comes in play. Forget all that. You have to control your work. If as a leader you control your work, all shall automatic. To ignore those who are not working. One time they will not work. The second time they will not work. How long shall they not work? No. There's a sense of shame in everybody. Generate that. Generate cooperation. Lead yourself. Go alone. After some time, people will follow you. This is psychological formula, psychological principle. If you go alone, really making leads, don't care about others, enemies are poor. Let them be poor. Don't care. I don't care if people don't understand me. Keep walking. They will run behind you then after some time. This is mentality of humanity. They want to pull legs of others, but they don't want to stand on their legs. Anyhow, and howsoever, engineering, construction is a profession, a risky profession. Remember, if RCC work fails, no solution. If brickwork fails, you can take out wall and do again. Stones can be taken out, plaster can be taken out, paint can be taken out. But RCC, if fails, you have no solution. You know what I mean. So I have explained about site engineer's degree of management, resident engineer's degree of management, and honor power. And a combination of these, along with supports of internal and external management on various projects from statutory bodies to quality, safety, and you yourself. Life is very difficult if you make it, and it is very easy if you resolve it. Forget your engineering degree. Think yourself as a worker, as a laborer, as an office boy, as a smallest engineer, as a smallest foreman, and as a helper. Interact with all, read all documents, understand all documents, plan yourself. Forget planning engineer, let him plan way for contract management, but you plan your way. Move, walk, lead, jump, and do whatever you want. Destination is for you. Responsibility is yours. Not engineers, not other engineers, not others, not public. If something happens, jail is waiting for you, lockup is waiting for you, police is waiting for you. If your shuttering fails, if your slab falls, if your design fails, labor dies, you are most welcome to jail. That is management of engineering. Before that, nobody will ask you. But once it happens, nobody will ask you. If it happens, nobody will ask you. You will have no time to explain. You will be in big hazard. So, my dear, make your engineering very strong. Don't depend on softwares and all. Depend on yourself. Responsibility is too high. And until it is successful, it is good. The time it is bad, life is back to zero. Maybe you understand what I mean to say. Well, in next one we'll take book again, and this was just because people don't understand what are the job descriptions of various people, various officers working on site, from contractor, and from engineer, and from owner. I explained to you that one. And I hope that you have got something out of it. Even if you understood 24%, I'll be happy for this. Thank you very much once again. Goodbye.